Hello everyone, it's Mislav from Dual Core Studio, and today we continue with mini-series how to draw 32 by 32 pixel art characters. If you still haven't watched my first video, part 1, please do. It's gonna be linked in the description, and this is part 2. So in part 1 I covered how to draw pixel art characters in somewhat realistic style, realistic meaning realistic proportions of a human body, but today we're gonna go into something more cartoony. And for those of you who don't know how to shade, this actually is gonna be pretty good tutorial for you, since I'm gonna use these templates. On first one is gonna be without shading, and the second one is gonna be that same sprite but with shading, so you can understand shadows and light source highlights a little bit better before we continue in part 3 on more advanced sprites. So yeah, let's jump into this. So to keep things as simple as possible, I use character, this time with black outlines. Now of course you can, instead of black outlines, you could use simply darker colors. I explained this in my previous videos, okay, but for now let's stick with black outlines. So let's create somewhat simplistic character, maybe go with again something bit modern maybe. So let's say brown shoes. Again, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible so you guys can create even the simplest characters more easily, but when you keep practicing you will get better as you move on, and therefore you will be able to create more difficult characters with more clothes on or more armor or whatever. Okay, so let's give him some greenish shirt, and let's say a bit orangish hair. Okay, now you can watch everything over here as well. Okay, now in this example, now let's say you want to draw a female character, and if you want your hair or maybe helmet or hood to move outside these pixels, this is actually what's gonna happen. So let's make a blonde. Okay, so this is the same hair as the top one, except it's a different color. Now it's the same. Okay, and let's say you want to extend it to have a longer hair. Simply go and make whatever you want to, and once you're finished, take those black pixels and just go outside from that hair color, and that's pretty much it. Now you could of course go like this as well. I went this through my outlines tutorial, but let's leave it like this. So this time black outlines will be mostly used for outer body, but of course as the inside as well, but just a little bit. Okay, so let's give her some shoes, maybe orange shoes, and to keep her as similar as possible to the male character, let's give her some teal, light blue actually, jeans. Okay, so let's redo these characters with the second template. So these templates are the same, but in this case you will have highlights and shadows. There are 3 colors for his skin tone. This is his mid-tone, these are highlights, and these are his shadows, and you can see them everywhere on the body. So his right arm, left arm, torso, legs. Now the left leg, in this case, it's all covered in shadow except his shoes or his toes, those are on highlights. Okay, so let's redo this character. So this tone is gonna be actually his mid-tone, so this one, okay? And from there you can, I mean, if you're using pixel edit, it's pretty simple. You can use these little bars for shading and lightness, but I will explain in future tutorials how you can create your own color palette, and we will get to that. But until then, let's stick with this. Bit brighter, I think. Okay, better. And his shadow. Now for his legs, again, this blue is gonna be his mid-tone, so this part. Again, we go with the shadow. And in this case, shadow is over here as well. Now I'm leaving this space free for his shoes, okay? And we go with the shading, like so. And then with the shoes, again, this is his mid-tone, so we go like this. And from there we take the shadow. And again we take the highlights. And that's pretty much it. Now we go into his hair. This is mid-tone. So it's gonna go like this. Now I'm just filling in blank spaces where his mid-tone will go. Now if I go into his highlights, it will be like this. And if I go with his shadows, it will be like this. So if you take a look at this character, and compare it to this part, you can see the difference clearly. The right one has more dimension and looks a bit more 3D. I mean, it's far from that, but yeah, you get the point. So this is how you can use the male template. Now if we repeat the process with female character, now again, mid-tone, shadow, highlights. This needs to be a bit more brighter. Much better. Now in this case, this would be her mid-tone. And if we go with shading, let's take this mid-tone, like so. Shadow. And once again, highlights. Now, once we get to the hair, once again, fill in the blank space, but this time, since her hair is going outside of these pixels, now in order for me to try to replicate, I need to watch the left part, or I can simply paste this, and that's pretty much it. Now, of course, to get her highlights and shadows on her hair, now this can be seen, still too weak, so much better. So once her hair goes outside these pixels, it goes outside from the template, and in this case you will need to use a bit of practice to find out where her highlights will be. Now it's a bit of trial and error, so please don't be afraid to experiment. Okay. Well, I think this covers the basics. I mean, I could go into more details, watch with more shadow and so on, but I don't want this video to go for too long. Okay, so that's all for today. Of course, you can download these templates from our website. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description so you can use those templates. Of course, if there's any game you really like, or there's any game which style you would like to learn how to draw and it's in pixel art, please leave it down in the comments. I will research that game, I will research that style, and I'm gonna make a video about it. I already have Starbound on my list, so any other game is also welcome. Also, if you like this video, please like it, and of course share it with your friends, it means a lot to us. And also don't forget to subscribe. Until next video, see ya later.